welcome to Early Morning Catechism. Happy Advent! Wait a minute, I know it's summertime, it's June 24th, but happy Advent. I'll explain later on. Today, even though it's Sunday, the church celebrates a feast day instead of the Sunday liturgy. It is the feast of the birth of St. John the Baptist. I know I told you some of these things last December, but by way of review, let's take a look at the map. John the Baptist was born a short time before Jesus was born. He was born in this village of Ein Karem, about 6 or 7 miles from the city of Jerusalem, in the hill country of Judea, a land that is filled with beautiful hills and trees, and yet to the east of it, the land becomes very dry. When he became an adult, John the Baptist came to live out here in the wilderness of Judea, in a place called Qumran. And he lived there for a long time in prayer and in fasting. We're not sure, but we believe he might have been connected to a group of men called Essenes who lived out there in the wilderness. I was there in the territory of the Qumran several years ago, and we actually got to walk around in the area where the remains of the buildings are. I want to show you this picture. This is a picture of the outlines of the buildings, and we were able to stand on a stairway over here and look right down into this room. This room was called the scriptorium. It was the place where the Essenes copied ancient scrolls. And I'm sure that back here were their sleeping quarters. There was another area out here that was their dining area. They had quite a community out there in the desert. Later on, some of the scrolls that were written were discovered in the caves nearby. John the Baptist may or may not have been part of that community, but you can see by the picture, it was a rugged wilderness. And there he prayed and fasted, and I'm sure he thought very much about the Jewish people and where their religion was going and where their government was going and where their country was going, because he lived at a time when the Roman Empire controlled the country. So let's get back to Advent. Why do I say Happy Advent? Well, a few days ago, we experienced the first day of summer. And Thursday, June 21st, the first full day of summer, is the longest day of the year. The sun is out over 15 hours. Today, the 24th, the sun is out 1 or 2 or 3 minutes less than it was on Thursday. And so gradually, minute by minute by minute, we are moving toward the first day of winter. 6 months from now. But the days are getting shorter. And as we begin to experience just a little more darkness every day, we begin to think about the darkness of the people who lived long ago. Probably one of the most important sayings of John the Baptist is in the Gospel of John, chapter 3, verse 30. John, in the middle of preaching in the desert, became aware that another man, Jesus, his cousin, was also preaching from town to town, and drawing lots of attention. And so disciples came to him and said, more or less, that they were confused. Is John alarmed that Jesus might be getting more disciples? Is John worried that his own ministry will die out and people will no longer listen to him, but to this Jesus? And in reply to their questioning, John says this in the Gospel of John, chapter 3, verse 30, "He must increase, I must decrease." And so the church, in her holy wisdom, honoring what John said, he must increase, I must decrease, puts the feast of the birth of John the Baptist exactly 6 months from Christmas Eve, December 24th, when we celebrate the birth of Jesus. So this feast of John the Baptist, like the natural season, is a turning point. We begin very slowly to move into the darkness until we come to that glorious day 6 months from now when we welcome the Savior. So, happy Advent.